Time now for the voice of the land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Always Positive Jay.
It's 7 p.m. on a Sunday. You know what time it is. Well, it's during the fall, but there was no Browns game. It's a bye-week special right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network. I guess you could consider us a Cavs post-game show today because they played early on at 3:30 and just beat up on the Lakers. Lakers had them for the first half, but the Lakers always have every team for the first half. And, you know, when you don't have shooters around LeBron James, this is what happens. Looking at you, Rob Pelinka. Don't know, not that I'm rooting for the Lakers over the Cavs. I'm just saying Lakers are an iconic franchise in the NBA. You have one of the greatest players of all time playing for your franchise right now, and you didn't surround him with shooters.
I think the Cavs have more wins than both LA teams combined.
I heard
I think they do.
I've heard the Clippers are playing better though.
But I still think the Cavs actually have more than both of them combined.
They're just always get hurt with injuries. Like, no pun intended. Like they just that team just always somehow injuries. Paul George.
You ain't getting my sympathy. I've had enough injuries in our team. So
Paul George, what has he been all his career? Pretty good player, injury prone. And unfortunately, it happened after that scary one in the exhibition game with Team USA, and it hasn't stopped. Gerard Cherry says it all the time. Once the injuries start, they don't stop. Kawhi Leonard, lately, one of the better defensive players, two-way players in the game, not available. What's your best ability? Your availability. Our availability, though, was to be here tonight for the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network. So we have pretty good ability. I'm Kevin Arnold. I'm joined by Always Positive Jay and Peter Tellep. We call him Audio because he is just
floating around somewhere.
Sure, what Jarvis was to Iron Man, Audio is to the Voice of the Land. We are brought to you by Vector Technical. They'll get the right person in the right job the first time. And, of course, follow us at VTL_pod on Twitter if you're tuning in, watching us there. Thank you so much. And we'll get you all the other things we got to read off throughout the show later on and some more commercials as well. We will be joined by Gabb Goudy of the Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast and works for FanDuel as well, as Jay just slides me a
bit of information, that's all.
Yeah, just sliding phones just back and forth on the table. It doesn't matter. But I guess being the bye week special, that kind of indicates we're going to talk about the Browns, and we haven't been together since the Browns played on Monday night. We said it was a must-win game. Boy, did they come out like it was.
I didn't see that coming. I don't know about you.
I guess my biggest question coming out of that game is, did that raise your faith in this team to really take these 2 weeks seriously?
Yeah, it totally did. Like, you could see that was the defense I thought was going to be here all year. Like, I'm still in shock that it hasn't showed up till then, because in the offseason, I thought our defense was just going to be stellar, and they finally showed up. We beat a team on all three phases of football: special teams, offense, and defense. And we finally got a comfortable win. And even with a huge lead, I don't know about you, but I was pretty still uncomfortable until that clock hit 0. And surprisingly enough, Jets beat the Buffalo Bills. So that Jets loss doesn't quite sting as bad. They might be the real deal right now. I mean, they still shouldn't have lost, but I thought the Jets were supposed to be like a garbage team. It's like, all right, at least a good team came back on it. It's not.
Actually, I thought the Jets were supposed to be a decent team, but like one of those 6-11 type teams where you see what they're building.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. What really ticks me off when I saw that score, and I didn't watch any football at all today, and you guys can call me whatever you want about football fan, not a football fan, don't really care. I have better things to do when I actually have a Sunday and had created plans. Actually, I was supposed to be calling soccer today, but that didn't happen.
I mean, you're a Browns fan. You watch Browns games. I don't think you're dedicated to watching NFL games unless they're on. You'll watch them more or less. You're a massive soccer fan. That's who you are.
Yes, I'm a massive soccer fan, but it's also like I'm not expecting a November, just even being the first November in this version of it in 2022. I'm not expecting it to be 70 plus degrees. So
you didn't miss anything. You could have watched the Bengals just blow out one team, and then Tampa Bay, and I don't even know who they were playing.
LA Rams. It's
Yeah,
like 10. It was 10-6.
So
when we turned it
boring.
off.
You didn't miss much.
I saw the Jets score beating the Bills, and yes, there is the common cliche, and it works because it happens any given Sunday. Any team can beat any team. That's what you get, a week of prep every single time, and the Jets executed their game plan, but they've also been playing pretty well this year since that second game. What ticks me off is the Browns have given away so many games this year. That could be the Browns this year, with having the quarterback that you win all in on suspended. You get Jacoby Brissett as your backup. He has played decent, better than everybody has expected to this point. And you had to go into Monday night at 2-5 in a must-win scenario. Luckily, for some reason, the Bengals seem to be the Browns' magic elixir and Joe Burrow's kryptonite for some reason. That's good, but you had to win to get to 3-5 into your bye week. If you would have stacked some of those early wins, what are the Cavs doing right now? Is they're building chemistry,
stacking W's,
because it's not perfect. They go into shooting lulls, shooting ice cold spells. They did that against the Celtics when they beat them 114, 113 in overtime at home for the second win over them in overtime this season. They go into these absolute cold spells and they can't even get a stop. So they're not perfect right now. They're not playing their best basketball, but they're stacking wins through the progression period of the early part of 2022, 2023. The Browns did not do that. You could be the Jets if you would have done that, and yet you gave them a game where they built their confidence, and now they're having a great season. So, yes, the Jets' loss doesn't look as bad, but I could argue that the Browns helped the Jets be who they are now because, again, when a young upstart team gets some early wins, early confidence, and you want that taste more and more, you get it early enough where you want it more and more, and you get it more and more, that leads to a much more successful season than anybody's expecting out of you.
I totally agree with you, Cam.
I am sorry to go such a
but
long
here's
round.
what the Browns need to do. And I have a saying. I always say, no regrets, only lessons. And the Browns can live by this.
Up in here?
Who?
Are you Ty Lue up in here? There was wins and lessons.
No, I've said this way before I've known Ty Lue. I don't even know. I always said, though, no regrets, only lessons. Because most of the time you have a regret, there's a lesson learned to be learned.
Right.
The Browns can either have regrets or they can have lessons from those losses. They can grow from those. Those are great lessons to learn from all those. Like, you're up 14, you can't take your foot off pedal. That's a lesson to be learned. They better never have that happen again. You can't give up these coverage. You can't. All those lessons, they have to learn from them. And if they do grow from them, it's going to make them better. But it's on them. We could sit there and tell them to sit there and do this each and every week. If they continue on and build from what they did last week and keep moving forward and keep getting better and keep getting better, play all three phases of football like they did, this team has the ability to go on the run. The talent is there. They just have to stack W's. They cannot lose anymore. Like, any loss is devastating to this point. And you could just totally ruin your whole season and you ain't making the playoffs.
And it's not going to be easy, especially, I mean, you still got 3 more games with Jacoby as your quarterback. I know Andrew Berry came out and said, and people made it seem like breaking news, that he's saying Deshaun Watson is still expected to be the starter once he's eligible to return December 4th, I think it is, against the Houston Texans. Whoa, just like, oh my God, I was so floored when I heard that. Like, are you kidding me? Of course, just Deshaun Watson is going to, like, that's what you traded all of this away for. That's what you paid him $230 million.
I mean, even if, let's say you have, and we don't, had Watson, these next 3 games are no easy. Like, no, Miami's a great football team. Then you got the Bills, who are a fantastic football team,
and probably angry if they don't get right next week. Then guess who's coming in to get right next to?
Yeah, and then you got Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, who if we lose to them, I'm going to be really upset because they don't look all that good. But
I was actually concerned about that game at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Now it seems like we have a pretty good chance with that one.
And just like what we just said, when young teams or teams that aren't expected to do much in a season, especially in the NFL, where it's once every week, they stack some of those early wins, and they build that confidence. They want that taste of a win more and more, and they get it more and more because that confidence continues to build and build and build throughout the year. The exact same could be said on the opposite end of the spectrum. When one team, like a team, is kind of not living up to expectations, and even with players that have shown consistently throughout their career, it's like one bad scenario, one thing that you can't get over, one bad habit you can't get over, and then the losses start to stack up.
It's a snowball effect either way.
Yeah, that's where the Buccaneers are this year. The problem is, the next three, yes, are Miami, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. Two of those on the road. Before this weekend, when you saw the Jets beat the Bills, you would have thought, like, you got to go 2-1 in those games, and really you got to go 2-0 against Miami and Tampa Bay. You got to go 2-0 against Florida, down in Florida, and then one at home. Buffalo is still a chance because any team has a chance, but you cannot be. This is the one thing that cannot happen with the Browns coming out of the bye week. You can't be everybody's get right game.
No,
and it felt like they were that in the first half. That was the theme of the first half. We are everyone else's get right game. I don't know what's going on. R2D2 is talking through your shirt, man.
My t-shirt's talking. I was like, what was that? Oh, we're picking up someone's. What is going on?
What is happening?
That's weird.
We're getting part chassis for $8 or something like that. I don't know what's happening.
That was really bizarre.
It totally threw us totally off. Yeah, so Browns got to win,
Yeah.
I know you're trying to fix your chassis right now. What do you think about it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Browns got to win. There we go.
Oh man. I mean,
I have no idea where that's even come from.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to take a little break and allow Peter to. We'll see if we can get everything going right. There's not much more to say about the Browns. We'll talk. We'll ask Gabb Goudy, who joined us, works for FanDuel, and of course one of the co-hosts of the Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast as well. We'll talk to her a little bit about her thoughts on the Browns' first half of the season, maybe what the second half, what really needs to change. What is there one thing that she would change that feels like it could help in the second half of the year? And then we'll get into the Cavs in the second segment as well. And we'll give our reactions, all that. And I still got a rant I got to do. So we'll let the person working on the chassis on their car or whatever automobile they are working on right now get their stuff going. We'll take a break right here on the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the bye week special of the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network. I am Kevin Arnold, always positive Jay across the table. Peter Tellep producing here tonight, someone working on the chassis of their car, as well as we were talking about the Browns. First half of their season, of course, this is the bye week special, so we did have to talk about Browns. We'll talk about Cavs a little bit later. We will be joined in just a little while by Gabb Goudy from the Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast and and works for FanDuel, of course, too. Maybe she has some sports betting tips, too, as we get closer and closer, Jay. January 1st, not less than 2 months away before sports betting is legal here in the state of Ohio. And we don't just say we're putting credits on something. I mean, I think we will because we're not going to be like big sports bettors, but
I got my rules set up for it. Every year I'm going to give myself $100, and whatever I can make or gain from it, that's what I get to use for the whole year.
If the experience that Jana and I had at the casino downtown I mean, we didn't spend much money at the casino, but if our experience there and our first ever casino experience playing penny slots is any indication, I don't think we'll be doing much.
I'll tell you this much: I did a 5-game parlay on the BetJack app or whatever
That training camp thing.
Yeah. And the Bills losing ruined my 5-game parlay.
Really?
I was like, I didn't see that one coming.
Hey man, that's if you're trying to dip into 5-team parlays, I don't know, man. I've heard like that's not the way to go.
No, that's why it's free. That's why I did it for free.
Not to go. But the direction we are going to go with the show right now is we are going to welcome in Gabb Goudy, who joins us to talk a little Browns and a little Cavs as well. Gabb, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Of course, you work with FanDuel and do the Unsportsmanlike Conduct podcast. Thank you so much for taking time on your Sunday night.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me, guys.
We were talking in our first segment about the Browns' first half. We hadn't had a chance to really react to the Monday night game, and we said going into that one that it was a must win. It seemed like, finally for the first week out of those first 8, all 3 phases of the game showed up. Besides that blocked 53-yard field goal, it seemed like everybody had that same mentality in that building.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I was excited. I was excited. That's all I can say. I didn't expect it would be like that. I had a feeling, like they always beat up on the Bengals. I'm like, maybe they'll have a chance right now. Maybe this will be the time. And they did well above and beyond everything I thought they were going to do.
The fear was like everyone kept saying how like we own Joe Burrow. We own Joe Burrow. I'm like, great. This dude's going to hear this. And I swear, I thought he was going to throw for 500 yards. And
I thought so too.
I was really scared. No, I ain't going to lie. I totally thought we were going to get blown out in that game. I'm like, and then the way it just went, I'm like, oh my God, we finally get to win. And where I'm not a nervous wreck to the very end of this. Like we won soundly finally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like the whole game was, well, besides the Amari interception at the beginning, like the whole game felt pretty good.
Yeah, well, let's just never call that play ever again.
I mean, I don't think he ever wants to do it again either. It was cool. It was a nice little try. Like he had his moment, but we know to never have that moment again.
Now he even said he actually attempted to throw that out. Like he wasn't trying to throw it to the receiver. He was trying to throw it out of bounds. He's like, man, that's a lot harder than I thought. Let's not do that again.
Yeah, his post game was pretty good with that.
Yeah,
he's like, that was totally me. That's tough. Yeah, let's just rip that page out of the playbook and.
He's been a total bright spot this year. Like you look at these receivers that are getting traded, like Claypool for a second, and then you see what we got Amari Cooper for. You're like, man, that was one hell of a trade by Andrew Berry.
Yeah, well, he's one of the best route runners in the NFL, and that's for a reason. And it doesn't take long, I think, for a quarterback and a guy like that to find some actual chemistry on the field. I will say I was kind of getting some sound after that game, and I know he wanted to like swear. He wanted to drop some bombs to the media and stuff because he was having a good time with it. And that's like one of those first pitches where you just hold on to it too long. And instead of, going straight down the pipe, it goes way off to the side. One of those funny ones. If he was trying to throw that out of bounds, I don't know. That was a dart to the defensive bag. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, looking at the first half of the season, though, we knew Watson was going to be out through the bye week and after that. Brissett has seemed like a bright spot. But is there one thing that's you can pinpoint? And Jay, I want to get your answer on this too. Is there one thing you can pinpoint that you really want to see change or come out of that Monday night game and be a consistent element for this team in the second half if they're going to make a run?
Well, I mean, we can all collectively agree the defense should play like that all the time. Right. Like that should be it. They're getting paid a lot of money. They're supposed to be really good at what they do. So maybe just keep doing that. Whatever you guys did there, do it again. Act like you're playing the Bengals every week. I don't know what else they could do. Seems like the only thing that ever like fixes them, they play the Bengals.
So they got to pull the water boy where they just imagine everyone bearing the Bengals and just use their imagination and they'll just ball out week in and week out. It's great.
Miles looked like he was the healthiest he's been all year, and especially coming out of that car accident, like he looked the healthiest and the freshest he has been all year long. Backing up that great Halloween display he had, he really did take Joe Burrow and the Bengals to the upside down.
Yeah, he really did. I just feel like I feel like Zach Taylor, for whatever reason it is, I don't know, if you're playing Myles Garrett, maybe do something else. You
Yeah.
know?
You might want to
Maybe
chip
do
him and put a
something
tight
else
end out there
because it's
too.
not working.
Yeah, we appreciated the single blocking on Myles Garrett.
Right. I
finally.
said, interesting, but okay, we'll take it.
I mean, I guess I want to ask you guys: did Myles Garrett putting up Halloween displays bother any of you guys? Because it didn't me. One, he
No.
doesn't take time out of his own time to do it. He pays people to do it that are professional. And like people were upset. They're like, I can't believe this guy's doing this again. Like, it's just how outside Halloween displays. Like,
Right. Like, did they miss the one last year? Because I feel like the one last year was even worse.
Oh no, people didn't miss that either.
No,
The
they
beat
complained.
the beat writers were all in on that.
Oh my God.
They saw the Halloween decorations. I think the QB graveyard that time, and then him wearing a costume. But I think he was like one of the only ones going into Halloween weekend wearing a costume on the Browns.
No,
And
there were a bunch of people. There were a bunch of people with
this
costumes.
week, yeah.
well, this week,
year.
but last year, everybody
Oh.
was on it because, Myles was supposed to be a leader and the team, I think, got
Oh.
absolutely trounced that weekend. So I knew that people were looking for that. They were looking for that to be a storyline coming out of this if the Browns went to 2-6 and
Yeah.
all the pageantry of the players coming in and all of these costumes and stuff. I did think even though we're past it now and he didn't get traded, Kareem Hunt wearing a Joker mask, I thought was kind of a double, it kind of had like other meaning to it too, not just being Halloween. That one,
Right.
I think, would have brought up more conversation if the Browns would have lost.
I'm just glad he won, so now he can actually put up Christmas lights and not people complain about it. Hopefully, like he could decorate for Christmas now and not get
Right.
made fun of for it.
Oh, I mean, but if he puts up any sort of Christmas lights in the design of like Tua Tagovailoa or Tom Brady, Josh Allen,
I love the Tom Brady one. Hey, real quick, the Browns are going to beat the Bills.
You
I
think?
believe it. By the way, like I fully believe it. Don't ask me why, but they're doing it.
So were you surprised by that game today? The Jets beating the Bills?
Yeah, I would say it was surprising. I thought the Bills were going to win, but I didn't think it was going to be like a lot to a little. I thought they would put up a decent fight, but Zach Wilson would do some dumb things to where the Bills would win, but he didn't do those dumb things, but he also didn't play very well, but he didn't do.
I mean,
some
that Jets
mistakes that
defense
he
is the
did.
truth. They're really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hold the Bills to that many points, you're doing something right.
Well, and I
Right.
heard driving in to do the show tonight, Sal Palantonio from ESPN, I think he was doing radio call of the game, and he said that Josh Allen said something about his mistakes today, his interceptions, his turnovers, and used some profanity as well in it, but basically said like he had, a mind fart like all game long. If you got Josh Allen doing that, I mean, the Browns do have a chance, but the first test is going down to Miami.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're doing the right things over these 2 weeks, Gabb? I mean, I know we're only a week into the bye week. We got another week of prep going before we go down to Miami. What do you hope that they're getting done, at least in this off week? Players getting rest, but what else should they be doing so that the defense comes out like they did against the Bengals?
Oof, I have no idea. I don't know. Maybe just pretend that, like I said, pretend it's going to be the Bengals. I don't know what it's going to take for them to get it together. I really don't know. And I can't base their performance off of just last week because every time we play the Bengals, it's a massacre every single time. And I feel like it's just, I can't base it off the Bengals.
I'd have to say they just can't ride the high of that win. They gotta be moved on. Like, all right, you beat the Bengals, great. That's the past. Move on. Bust your ass. Get to work. Study. Get your body nice and rested and healthy, and get ready to take on a hell of an offense because you're going to need that same performance that you just did, and you can't rely on last game because that ain't going to give you no points for this game.
Yeah.
Am I crazy for fearing
100%.
that they're not doing the right thing, though, because of that? It's still back to when John Johnson called out his team and saying that, and it didn't really
He shouldn't be
translate
doing
until
that.
Monday night.
I don't know.
Well, he shouldn't be doing that because he needs to get it together too.
And we said that here on the show. Like it's one thing if it gets so bad that you have to bring it to the media, like that it's bad.
Right.
But
like look at yourself first.
Yeah, the reason
And
why
then reevaluate with everybody else.
right. And I mean you're you fit in right with the show because I feel like we bring these things up on when we're talking about stuff and people don't.
Yeah.
We try to
And
look
I
at
like
it.
him, but like I feel like he could play a little better.
Yeah, like when you're the guy when you're part of the problem and you're calling out like you're not the problem. That's where
like a theme.
That's where the whole mess was last year, and we thought that one guy leaving that locker room was the change to that. It didn't feel like that in the first half.
Changed the offense, but it stayed with the defense, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with this defense. We talked about how in the first segment we talked about how outside of the Browns having the Bengals be their magic elixir, their get right game, felt like the Browns were everybody else's get right game in the first half of the season. And that shouldn't be the case with all this talent.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've put
definitely.
They've put themselves in a tough predicament in the second half. If you think that Deshaun Watson's going to be able to knock off 2 years of not playing, if we're just looking at him in a pure football standpoint, elite quarterback type standpoint, he's just going to knock off all that rust. It's not like it looked that great in the preseason. I know the preseason doesn't matter, but it sure mattered when you saw the defense doing the same things they were doing then that they're doing now. Outside of that Monday night game.
And dude, just having timing with your receivers, that takes time. Like, I'm sure he could still throw the ball just as hard as he did. He's probably just as fast as he was and just as accurate, but you have to get timing. Like, that takes time. You can't just get that overnight. Like, otherwise people would be trading quarterbacks left and right and not caring because you just plug and play, and that don't work.
I guess bringing it down to brass tacks. For both of you, Jay, Gabb, what do you guys see as the second half record? What will the Browns record be in these last 8 games? Will they make the playoffs with that record as well? Gabb, no. I'll start with you. How many games? I
don't think they will.
And I don't either. How many games do they have to win in the second half to make the playoffs?
All of them.
Pretty much. You got to win.
Yeah, you got to win. And I don't think I said we're gonna beat the Bills. Stupid to say out loud, but you got to win all of them.
Jay,
I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I think they'll just miss out, and you're gonna go back and be like, man, all those, just a couple of those close games, just a couple plays away, and that's how it's gonna end. So, I'd say Watson. What does he get? 6 games
since the 11 games.
Since
I said, they're not making it. Like, your season's good luck. See how it goes. It's gonna be a mess. So,
and I think the most unfortunate thing about that is, I think we were kind of talking about that too. We all felt like the 11 game suspension really hurt the season because we thought, Jacoby Brissett, he's been a career backup. Every game that he wins, he loses 2 or 3 other ones, and you thought like the offense was going to be a problem. The defense might be able to keep them in games, but they might not have enough. The season might not look as good. Everybody gets a pass after this year. And yet it's been the exact opposite that has been the problem for most of the season that makes this so frustrating that they're not going to make the playoffs because Brissett, you can't really put it on
I'll give you guys hope. Last game showed me that Stefanski actually can change what he doesn't do. Like, they showed they will run the ball. Like, I think they ran twice as much they threw finally, and the results came like we destroyed the Bengals. If they stick to the script and this defense plays this defense, our run game does what we're supposed to do. When we run the ball like we just did, use both backs to both their ability, we could make a run. Like, it's capable of happening. It's not an impossible task. I truly believe, like, the talent's there. It's a matter if they go out and execute. And history has shown us the Browns don't do that. But like I said, it's there. They have the talent. They have more talent than this team we've ever seen them with. So, like, since 99 at least.
Yeah. And you did all these 1-year deals and everything like that.
Not to mention the rest of this league is really good. Like, any team could beat any team. Like, any given Sunday. Like, there's no super elite teams, I don't think, out there. The Bills showed today they're beatable.
Yeah.
Gabb's got faith we're going to beat them. Like, you could beat anybody.
I've been saying it for weeks, though.
They don't scare me like teams that used to scare me were like the Chiefs when they first came out, and they still scare me. Yeah, they kind of do, just because you could literally be up 24 points at 3 minutes ago, and that dude will come back. But
yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of cheat codes in the NFL in terms of players, but again, nobody's really running away with anything this year, and I think that's what gives everybody at least a chance. I just don't know where. I just don't see how the Browns can just.
The problem
flip a
is too
switch
is
just
the
like that.
Ravens got like a cakewalk schedule coming up. Like they might not lose again.
Yeah, well, they'll take care of the cakewalk schedule, unlike the Browns did. But I want to have a little
They
bit of
find a way to win all the time.
yeah.
We'll talk about some winning. What's on the other side of this break?
Yeah, let's we're gonna hit a break. Gab, do you mind staying with us just for another
You got it.
quick segment? We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about a fun team in this town.
Right.
On the other side of the break, you are tuned in. We are joined by Gabb Goudy from FanDuel right here on the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Land on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold, always positive J, audio, our producer extraordinaire, and we are joined by Gabb Goudy from FanDuel. We're gonna talk about a fun team in this town. We mentioned them a little bit at the start. They got a 114-100 win against the Lakers, but who isn't beating the Lakers these days? They can't shoot the ball from the outside. But a team that's won 8 straight, could have won the opener, had a playoff atmosphere up in Toronto. Gabb, I'm sure it's been fun. Have you been to some of the games yet this year?
Me and Gabb went to a game together.
Oh, you did?
The game that game. Who did we just play? The Celtics game. She was there.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was awesome.
All right, guys, tell me like what that atmosphere was like. Because we know the Celtics are one of those highly touted teams that they're in the upper echelon of the East, and to beat them twice and to have like a playoff atmosphere at home, what was that like to kind of have that back in Cleveland again?
I mean, towards the end of last year, it was feeling like that too.
Mhm.
But I feel like every single game is going to be like that. It was awesome. It was loud.
It reminded me of the
Crowd was
LeBron era.
crazy. Mm-hmm.
It was
Yeah,
definitely
people were
loud.
excited.
See, I'll know when that feeling is back all the time here, when even the games that you expect to win, the teams that come in here that are at the bottom of the league, those arenas are still going crazy and they're still full. I was at the game against the Magic, and it had that like people on their edge of their seat, like, I want to get up, I want to get into it, but it's the Magic. Like, I feel like the Cavs have just enough talent to beat them type thing. And it was still back and forth. It's early. They got young guys on that team. I think Banchero, who's, going to be the top rookie in this class, but it was like, we want to be that old 20,005, 62, whatever, however many used to be in there. Now it's like 18,000. We want to be that crowd again, but can we yet? Like, it was almost like people were questioning, can we be that rowdy crowd no matter who we're facing?
Well, they were rowdy for that Celtic game.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that's for sure.
We actually, Brad Stevens' family had the suite directly right behind us. He was in there. We didn't say anything to him, but still kind of cool to see him.
Oh man, Brad Stevens, him coaching Butler and beating up on Cleveland State when I was going there, that always sucked.
Yeah, I mean, that dude is a basketball genius, but I'm glad he's not coaching the Celtics anymore. That's for sure.
I'm glad. Yeah, I guess they are too, because it doesn't matter who they're putting out there. As long as it's not Brad Stevens coaching the team, it seems like they're having success. And somehow Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum have found that rhythm. But hey, Cavs were off to a great start. Is it surprising anyone like how easily Donovan Mitchell is fitting in, and they don't even feel like they've scratched the surface of what they can do yet?
I mean, I thought it was going to work out as soon as it happened. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. This is going to be great for the team. He's a really good player. Seems like a nice, fun guy that's going to fit. Because, like, the Cavs, they're like a cute little fun team. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're not
Did you
I don't know. They're cool.
did you see the video after the game today on social media, the junkyard dog?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So people that haven't seen it, and if you're tuning in or just watching or listening to the audio on Google, Spotify, or Apple, got to get these plugs in there all the way throughout the show. But if you haven't seen it yet, JB Bickerstaff always gives out the junkyard dog chain after the Cavs win. Like, who is that guy that got down and dirty, got on the floor burns? The last game, the entire team got the junkyard dog chain. Today, he goes to grab it. It's not in the case. Kevin Love has the chain in his hand, and he goes, you know what? We're giving it to JB Bickerstaff today after that halftime speech, because you already know when JB in game 3 or 4 is losing his voice and the team is losing at halftime and they're talking about halftime speeches, that guy gives everything he has. I don't even know how he has a voice at the end of these games.
I mean, yeah, everything he does has been great. Like everything. It's been great.
The thing about that video I absolutely loved is you could see every single person on that team is playing for JB.
Yeah.
They love him. Like, he's just got those guys eating right out of the palm of his hands. Like, he says, do this, and they're like, yes, sir, let's go. And I absolutely love this team. They're just so much fun to watch.
They have emotion. The one thing we've wanted from the Browns for so long, I get that Kevin Stefanski is an even keel guy, but even keel only can go so far. You are in professional sports. You are supposed to show emotion.
I need this halftime speech, because after the halftime, they interviewed Luke Walton. He even mentioned, he goes, all I know is, man, coach just gave a hell of a halftime speech. Like, all right, I need to hear this. Like, every day before I start work, I just want to start it off with JB Bickerstaff halftime speeches from now on. So I start my days.
I mean, I can probably paraphrase for you. The Lakers are ass. I don't know what you guys are doing out here. You're giving up 65 points in the first half to this team.
Yeah. He probably dropped some LeBron shade, like saying this team, you know what I mean? Like saying, like, the only reason people know this team is because of this man, and you're going to let him, like, do it again. Because he always beats the Cavs.
I would love it if JB found a way to make it a cryptic statement about LeBron, just like LeBron likes to do cryptic tweets or social media posts out there. Like, that would be the ultimate thing. But of course, we know that if LeBron became available, like, I would
yeah, 100%.
Would you guys take LeBron back here, being at the point he's at now, where he's willing to he was willing to fall back behind Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis can't stay on the floor.
100%.
Like, here, I'll put it this way. I'm not trading anything for LeBron, but if it was free agent, I'd take him. And if I because
freebie, yeah, come on.
I wouldn't even give up Kevin Love right now, because I just love him too much, and he deserves. Just because since that dude got here, they were trying to trade the poor guy, and now he's here just being the veteran coming off the bench. And yeah, I probably shouldn't play highlights when I'm on my podcast.
It's okay. We've already had someone talking about
feed.
fixing their car, like the chassis on their car or something today. Somehow we had
They remind me of like when you used to have, like, you might even be too young, when you would have wireless house phone.
The cordless phones.
Yeah, you'd have the cordless house phones, and then you'd pick up people's like baby monitors and stuff. Like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, it's been a night over here, Gabb. Trust me, that's
funny.
It's been a night, but it helps when you at least have a team on a Sunday that that you have faith in that can win a game. Is there one area that you've seen? We're kind of to the 10 game mark. Is there an area, Jay or Gabb, that you've seen that this team could really add a piece? Is it that wing that they're still missing on this team? Because that's where I see, like, taking it from where they're at now as they progress throughout the year to taking it to that next level, to truly competing when you get to the end of the season. I feel like it's that true 3-and-D that Karis LeVert is trying to become, but has not fully gotten into just yet.
He's doing pretty good defensively this year. And Okoro is amazing defensively this year. His offense,
but he just can't score. He can't score.
He's got the yips when it comes to shooting that corner three, and I know he could shoot it better than what he is this year. I think that's just a mental thing.
Maybe he should try somewhere else. Maybe move around a little bit. Maybe not the corner three.
Maybe
a layup.
because people are going to leave him open.
Yeah, they're
because-
just daring him to shoot.
yeah.
Right.
That's taking the LeBron model of playing defense. Like LeBron looks at guys' percentages from the floor and from different spots around the floor. And if you don't show that you can shoot wide open, he isn't going to guard you. If you hit a couple, he'll give it to you, but you have to do it consistently enough. And Okoro to get more minutes, he's got to score. That's a big problem. That's what's going to take, if he can score, that's what's going to take a deep-ish team to a deep contending team.
I don't even think, honestly, guys, I don't think they need him to score all that much. If he can come in and his role is lockdown defender, you got scoring from Mitchell, Garland, Love, LeVert. You got Allen dunking on people. Mobley can score. Like, there's scores on the team. Seti Osman can shoot the three now. Wade can shoot the three. Like, you have scores. Plenty of scores. If he can literally just come in and he's just locked down defender, he'll have a spot always on the team. Like, he'll make a difference. But you just need to have that. You always got that's what's got to be your role, I guess.
Yeah, I just think when you in those moments like today in the first half, if you and I was, we were out, wife and I, we were out downtown. We were kind of like at a restaurant. We could see the game going on. And I saw the stat pop up that in the first half, the Cavs had 42 points from Garland and Mitchell. They only had 10 from the rest of their team at that point. I think they ended up with like 13 from the rest of the team in the first half. When other guys aren't scoring, and as the game goes, if Garland and Mitchell are going off, teams are going to be able to they're going to be able to stem the tide against them. You're going to need guys to come off the bench that are going to end up with wide open opportunities. Maybe not that many. You're going to need them to knock them down, and Okoro needs to be one of those guys on this team. If other guys aren't stepping up,
if we didn't get Mitchell, I think that dude's so good he's covering those warts up. Like, that's where I think he has elevated this team. Like,
yeah,
if we didn't have him, this team, like, Okoro would be killing us. But Mitchell is so good offensively, especially in the clutch moments. He's covering those warts up of him. And I love the fact that he picked him up after the one post game and mentioned how he's playing amazing D and his offense will come. Like, that's a leader right there. I still can't believe we got him. Like, I absolutely love this guy.
I can't believe that we got him and people were like, oh my God, we're getting rid of Colin Sexton. These people don't watch other
Colin
teams,
just didn't fit.
I don't know.
Unless he wanted to be a six man. That was the only way he was
Right,
going
and
to fit. Like,
see,
he's a good ball player.
I have two Cleveland sports takes that was like the hill I was dying on. I was never going to change my mind. Here's the two. Baker Mayfield, not good. Off the team. Second one, Colin Sexton, six man. Both of those were very controversial for whatever reason that was.
I don't know, because people like to argue. Like, we always say, like,
right.
If everyone knew anything and everything about sports, we'd be millionaires betting on gambling, and no one becomes a millionaire betting on sports because no one knows everything.
Right.
They're just, people get upset about sports opinions too much. It's like sports. They're
Colin
great.
Sexton does something to these people. I don't know what he does. The chokehold he has on these people.
I love Colin Sexton. I actually wanted
Colin.
I wanted him to draft him because I love the fact that when he was in Alabama and he had to play a team 3-on-5 and he was like single-handedly almost won that game. I'm like, all right, I like that guy. That guy's got heart. So I had
like
nothing
him,
bad to say about him.
Sometimes
Sometimes it's fit. Like, it wasn't like he was a bad person, didn't fit like that. His just style of game is a six man, and he's flourishing in Utah. Like, Lauri Markkanen, good for him. He's doing great there. Like, I have no problem with those guys. I root for him, but yeah, he just wasn't gonna. I don't think a fit next to Garland.
Here's what I'll say about my thoughts on Colin Sexton. Like, I was a guy that liked Colin Sexton. I maybe didn't go to bat for him against people that didn't like him. I understood why people didn't like him. But if you have a chance he's a piece to use to get a talent like Donovan Mitchell, you do that every day of the week. As much as I like the guy, like I'm not going to.
Here's the difference.
I'm not going to deny getting Donovan Mitchell when you're basically only getting rid of Colin Sexton and not breaking up any of the rest of the core of this team. And you're seeing how important that was. I think to your point, Jay, about Colin being like that guy that was 3-on-5 at Alabama and taking on a bunch of, taking on that situation and helping them win and everything. He may have been a guy that was trying to take on too much just on himself and
Mm.
not fitting in. Because if you see this junkyard dog chain being given to the coach and everybody's jumping on him, everybody's buying into what JB Bickerstaff is telling them. If they got rid of him, I feel like there was part of him that wasn't buying into that, and he was still trying to do too much. He was trying to be the guy after the guy left. It's always hardest to be the guy after that guy leaves. When LeBron left again, Colin Sexton was the next guy drafted.
Here's the difference between these two right
Try
here.
to
It's
take too
simple.
much of that on himself.
One guy right now he'll be mentioned for MVP. The other guy's going to get mentioned for Sixth Man of the Year. Both are great awards. One's the better award.
And one's the talent you'd rather have on your
Mhm.
team because it's going to bring everything together. Gabb, can't thank you enough for jumping on the show. Want to give you the opportunity. We always give every guest the opportunity. I know a lot of people follow you, so everybody kind of knows where you're at on social media. But what are some things with FanDuel people can start getting into or expect
Plug away.
come the turn of the year?
Okay.
And then the podcast too. Make sure people know where they can find that as well.
Okay, in case you guys aren't aware, which it's literally shoved down our throats at this point, sports betting is legal January 1st. See you guys there. FanDuel Sportsbook. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Finally, it's happening.
Yep.
Isn't
And
your
then
station teaming up with FanDuel?
I don't know.
I think
I know. I don't get told nothing about.
I think I know more about it work ESPN Cleveland than you do, and you work for them.
I just do what I'm told. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just there so I don't get fined. All right. That's
I
what
want to say I think FanDuel's teaming up with ESPN Cleveland right now, but I could be wrong. I don't work for them.
There's so many. That's the thing.
right, there's so many. Yeah.
Even if I knew, I probably couldn't say anything at this point. So Gabb was in the middle of plugging her stuff. So what can people expect from FanDuel?
Also, we're gonna be going to some games soon, especially January 1st. We're gonna be going on a little sports betting tour.
Oh, nice.
At a Cavs game. We're gonna do Browns game, then we're gonna home game, so that's kind of lame. Bengals game. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a lot of things. Also, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. have a show on Sportsmanlike Conduct on their YouTube and Twitch. And we just roast everyone and everything. And we're gonna roast Aaron Rodgers probably, so it's gonna be the main one.
Hey, after the season,
That won't be hard.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just about to say the same thing after the season he's having, and
I don't know why I'm enjoying it too. Like, he's so weird. I don't know. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers is a weird dude.
So was Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Russ and Rodgers got weird. Like and
Mhm.
it probably was already there, but like we just didn't see it because they were so good.
Yeah.
But now it's just you got to have fun with it. So
Yeah.
Gabb, thank you so much. Gabb Goudy from
Yeah, for
FanDuel and
sure.
Under Sportsmanlike Conduct podcast. Thank you so much. You're always welcome on the show whenever you want. Thank you for coming on tonight. That was Gabb Goudy coming on to the Voice of the Land for our bye-week special. On the other side, the final break, we'll react to a couple things with the Cavs, but more so, there was a rant I wanted to do last week. I think that there's kind of two rants. There's a Cavs rant and now another rant. We'll get into that. And wherever the rest of the show takes us, we'll get
How we
there.
roll.
That's how we roll on the Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
It's the final segment on the Voice of the Land on this Sunday, November 6th, 2022, right?
Sure.
November
sounds
6th.
I mean, I know it's 2022 and it is November 6th.
Oh my gosh.
Good job. Good job.
Thanks. I mean, these days are just
Congratulations. You know the date.
I'm making progress, guys.
Moving up in the world.
I was just about to say it's the final segment and we don't know where we're gonna go. Hey, we already started by talking about do we even know what the date of the actual day that we're on is? Thank you so much to anybody that is tuning in live on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, through our social media handles, and of course, Big Play. If you follow either one, you can catch us. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the follow button, the like button, whatever you can to make sure that you get the notification that we are live every Sunday at 7 o'clock. And thank you so much to Gabb Goudy for coming on. Make sure, of course, FanDuel is going to be one of those big places come January 1st. FanDuel, you've already heard them and DraftKings.
I mean, I feel like I've been hanging out with this girl for like two of the we tailgated at that event with Stipe, which that was a really fun time. And then I ended up going to Cavs game because I probably asked a good 25 people, and I think everyone went to that game except for you, Kevin. I think everyone ended up making the Cavs Celtics game. Like everyone ended up having tickets. I'm like, I can't find anyone to go to this game.
I didn't get a call.
We're always busy.
That's right. I was busy.
It was a Wednesday night, and I was like, so I was like, all right, I'm figuring we're gonna have her on. I want to get to know her a little better and stuff like that. So I just told her, I'm like, you can have all 3 tickets. I'm just going by myself, and she brought her friend, and it was nice because we had a nice spaced out area with an empty seat.
You know, Jay,
I'm gonna get more tickets. Like I got a guy.
You can't piss off our AI system.
You saw me.
you saw when Jarvis turned into Vision how powerful Vision got.
I mean, he could pick up the hammer, dude.
Yeah, let's
not let him throw the hammer down.
Let's not tick off our producer of this show.
Hey, I'm going out and introducing myself to future people for the show. It was for the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
hey, you got one of the two. There's, you mentioned another name.
Can I take you to a Cavs game?
Well, yeah.
Okay. I'm waiting for I'm waiting for my tickets.
We had the picture.
I'm gonna turn that right around on you. I took you to a Cavs game. You could take me to a Cavs game.
Yeah, you saw the empty chair and everything.
Yeah. You tweeted out the picture of us.
Yeah.
I
forgot. I remember that.
Oh my god.
Hey, that was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
This is why we don't have bits on this show.
You don't need to.
I can't.
We are a bit.
We are a bit. I don't know
Yeah.
what date it is. You don't remember.
Anyways, Kevin. Last week you didn't get to get into it.
Well,
what is bothering you?
I mean, the first thing, I feel like Peter has more of the rant. The first thing that's bothering me this week is Bally Sports, and it's always bothering me. We paid. So the wife and I, we paid for a year. We didn't pay the monthly.
Oh, you paid
We paid the year. And it's not just us anymore. Like, I know you had problems. You got rid of Bally Sports Plus.
And then I picked it back up today because
Peter, you haven't gotten it yet, right?
No, I have not.
But it's not working for people.
It worked today.
Yeah, it did. It did. But how are you supposed to watch the games if you're going to control local market teams? And I know Bally Sports is all around the country. So I'm not going at Bally Sports Cleveland. We have great people that work over there, working for multiple things. A lot of, they Brown shows.
I like the shows they put on. I like the production they put on. Just make it work. If I'm going to pay $20 a month, I want it to work. Like, you're more than my HBO subscription. Guess what? When I turn on HBO, it works. You're more than my Netflix. When I turn on Netflix, it works. So I don't complain. If I'm going to pay for you, you better work.
Here's the thing is Netflix for you. You ever get any content blacked out on your Netflix?
No.
Are they still blacking out the local games on some of the Bally stuff? Because I thought they were doing that with some of the the Guardians games earlier this year.
So,
or do I have that wrong? Because
no, they didn't black out Guardians games. I think on Bally, what happened is if they were on like MLB Network or one of the other streaming services simultaneously, you can't watch them on that more accessible level.
Gotcha.
Because Bally Sports is saying they're our product. You can't show them here. Everybody else can see them, but you.
Oh, so, okay. So if you had MLB Network, they would black it out on MLB Network, the Bally's feed. Okay.
Yeah.
And
they black out. So they'll black out like nationally televised games if the local entity is showing it at the same time. But there's also an issue with the Bally Sports app that's not necessarily blacked out, but it feels like they're blacking out the game because it says you don't have access to this team's stuff. Like it makes it seem like you aren't in that region, you weren't from that area, so you don't get this game.
That's I don't know. I know that. I mean, it's a lot of money in there, and it's frustrating because it's just so much. It's so much freaking money if you want to watch.
I could go on like a whole show rant.
We could do a whole show.
I'm just streaming services costing me too much money.
Yeah. It was a great streaming services were a great idea. Initially.
Now it's out of control.
It's out of control, and now you've taken everything and branched it off into all these different multiverses.
We're in the multiverse of streaming. I don't know where I am.
Well, here's part of the problem is when cable came out, right? People could play. You're paying all this money for cable, and you're paying for channels you don't want.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't care about HGTV,
I don't need 500 news channels.
Exactly, but you're
C-SPAN 1, 2, 3 through 25.
But,
I didn't need.
But you're paying for those.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing with streaming was, good, we're just gonna pay for what we want. Well, guess what? They've got to fill 24/7.
Yes.
And the nice thing about like Netflix or HBO, they're not like real time streaming, right? They don't have They usually don't have live broadcast. I think HBO might have some sporting events, but now they just added all these damn 24/7 channels that they're like, well, we got to pay for all this content. So I'm not going to pay $20 a month for.
I know.
Bally's.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like I don't understand. And I jumped on Jana's tweet about this because I wasn't home. I think it was Friday night when they were facing off against Detroit. She couldn't watch. And I jumped on Twitter when I got home from doing high school football, and a bunch of people were having the same problem. The app was not working. The Bally Sports Plus, which was supposed to be more accessible than just logging in with a cable provider on ballysports.com or
Explain this. It wouldn't work on my TV, and it would just be this little box with the play symbol in it, and I'd click, and then the box play symbol would turn gray, and then I'd just sit there, and it wouldn't show anything. I'm like, I go on my phone, play the app, and there's the game. I'm like, okay, this is working. Why isn't it working there? Like,
I don't know.
I was on my free trial, and then I stopped for a few days, and then the Cavs played the Lakers. I'm like, damn it, I gotta watch this, especially. It's just going to end right before our show. I was like, I definitely got to watch this. So,
yeah, I know.
It got me for 20. You have this month to get your crap together because you won't get my next 20. Poor Kevin over here already paid for the year.
Hey, we thought it was.
Did you save money doing it that way then?
Yeah, it saves money that way. So,
I'm probably still going to end up paying every single month. I'm a sucker. Like I'm a sucker.
And
that's the beauty of not having kids. So at least I can spend the $20.
That's the thing. We got to talk about these games, so we got to be able to see them when we have the time to be able to see them, and we're not able to see them. Like I said it. Either get it right or give it up. Get it right or give it up to those that are going to do it right. That's rant number one. Sorry to just end with rants, but
they're fun rants.
It's fun.
This is a fun one.
I didn't want to bring this up till now because I know I feel like our guest was a little bit more on the other side of this rant, and I know we have a lot of people that probably tune in or listen or know who we are at least, and they probably feel differently. If you feel differently, I'm not trying to tell you how to feel. I'm only going to tell you how I feel from my standpoint, and that is with the holidays. Guess what, people? The next holiday is Thanksgiving. I know the retail stores have to get their stuff up, and all these big businesses and even downtown Cleveland, they got to put their stuff up because it takes a while for some of these bigger light displays and all of that. They have their lighting ceremony usually the Saturday after Thanksgiving. But everybody else that has their videos that say me on October 31st, and it's them dancing in their Halloween costume. Me on November 1st. All I want for Christmas, like the Mariah Carey song.
The Mariah Carey stalling out now.
Yeah, finally. like it's them in their Christmas jammies, and they got their trees up and stuff. I mean, there are other holidays celebrated in the month of December, and we will make sure that we acknowledge all of those holidays here on the show. But those that celebrate Christmas being the bulk of the retail sales this month and next month. I am one of the biggest Christmas fans out there. I watch all 25 days of Freeform and AMC's 25 days of Christmas movies. I make sure I get every movie in. I got to watch the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation a bunch of times.
All right. What movies do we have to watch? We'll get into that another time.
Yes, that'll be another show. We don't have enough time for that.
I just realized as soon as I looked at the clock, I was like, we'll get into that.
And it says 8:59, but it's actually 7:59. So we didn't go an hour over. We're still a minute before, but we'll still probably go over by a couple minutes. I'm trying to minimize that right now. I will say this. Again, I am someone, I have all the Christmas sweaters. I will get the Christmas jammies. I want it all. I put up so many freaking strands of lights on my tree. I have to go 6 to 8 strands. It's got to be all lit up. Every single corner. I look at it from every angle.
When do you do this?
I do that after Thanksgiving. The first appropriate time for all of the Christmas music to be played and all of that stuff to be talked about, I will accept when Santa Claus is rolling down whatever street that is in New York in front of Macy's for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Once he comes rolling down and everybody starts eating their Thanksgiving dinner, you get that cleaned up. You can transition. For me, it's really December 1st, but with Thanksgiving not ever happening on the same exact date, it's just the same day of the year in November. I know it's kind of tough, and sometimes it comes earlier where you got a little bit more time. Other times it comes later. But for me, I will only become annoying to my wife with all the Christmas stuff and how many decorations we got to try to fit into our apartment. And hopefully one day, very, very soon, we get a house and I'll be able to do much more. And I'll be even more annoying at that point. For as much as I am the biggest Christmas fan out there, I feel like the only appropriate time is once Thanksgiving is done. Give Thanksgiving its due. It's one of the absolute best holidays. You get to fill your face for no reason, and it's great.
Well, there's a reason, but
yes,
it's so much. I always say Thanksgiving is my favorite. It's completely less stressful than Christmas. There's no expectations of getting people good gifts and stuff, because that's the most nerve-wracking thing about Christmas is you want to give everyone a good gift, and that's hard. They're like, especially your significant other, you're like just boggled. They're like, oh, what do I get her this year? What do you get? It stresses you out. Everyone gets stressed out. No, you get there, you eat food, you sit there and you watch football, you pass out, get up, eat more food, eat more dessert, and there's just a hodgepodge of all kinds of different delicious foods. I personally love turkey. I don't think it's the respect that it should deserve. If it's cooked correctly, it is one of the best meats you can ever have. Like, oh, I'm with you, Kevin. Put some respect on Thanksgiving's name.
Please put respect on Thanksgiving's name. I think my dad's even calling me right now.
He's probably upset. Like, yeah, let him know. Let him know.
He's probably going to come on the phone and say, hashtag, let him know Thanksgiving.
It was always, though, it was right after Thanksgiving. We came home. My stepmom would, and this is before, like, it's not as bad as it was, but she'd get up the butt crack of dawn, and her and my aunt would go do that crazy Black Friday shopping when it was chaos. And then after that, you'd get back and hurry up and try to sneak as many gifts in without us peeking and trying to figure it out. And then that next day would have been Saturday. Yep. We all would hang up Christmas lights outside, depending on weather, or if it was nice, or if it was bad, we'd put up the Christmas tree. That was like that weekend was after Thanksgiving, we put up our Christmas lights.
Now, if people put up their Christmas lights, their outdoor displays today, because this weekend, because of how nice it was,
I was so half tempted to do it, but I was like, Kevin will be mad if I do.
No, I totally get it, because you're like,
no, I'm laughing because I knew what the rant was today, and I'm like, if I come in here and I tell him that I just put up Christmas lights, he might just blow.
You just don't turn them on until after Thanksgiving.
I was gonna say the
same. I couldn't help myself. I knew if I put them up, I'd be like, well, I'm gonna have to see how they look.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, if people put them up today, fine. If I'm driving by and I see people's Christmas displays up, in the community and across the town, as long as when I come back through, if I come back by your house and it is dark, because it gets dark a lot earlier, and it is a dark display that I can barely see any of the decorations, you're doing the right thing.
Turn my lights on. I'm looking out the window, and Kevin's just standing there staring at me. Like, Tiffany, Turn the lights off. He's scaring me.
I can't wait until I can go all Clark Griswold and everybody and light up a freaking house and cause them to turn the switch on the nuclear power. Causing a blackout. Like
all the lights dim in the town.
Trust me, like Christmas.
And then you're gonna come on the show one day and be like, "Yeah, this is from my cast because I fell off my roof, putting lights up all over the place."
And why is the floor all wet, Margo? I don't know.
I don't know, Todd.
Actually, it's reversed, but my mind's not fully in it because Thanksgiving needs respect. I'm not going to start going.
Even the radio stations, they don't play the Christmas music till after Thanksgiving. I'm
no,
pretty sure.
Some do.
It's going to start next week, I think.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't start last week, but I think because it wasn't a full week in November, if you turn on the typical radio stations, I don't know that we can give their name, like their call signs, whatever, but there's 2 in this town that play Christmas music.
The one I listened to, actually, we weren't playing it yet, so
it'll probably be tomorrow.
Check tomorrow.
Yeah.
Give us an update in the group chat. All right. But we will do a show or a segment at least on the must watch after Thanksgiving. We will do a show that talks about the must watch movies in the Christmas list, the must do's, the must don'ts. I got all that for you. I'm all about it.
Oh, I got you.
But again, once Thanksgiving is done, if there's anything you take from this show today, if you tuned in, put respect on Thanksgiving's name. And with that, we will bid adieu to this bye-week special for the Voice of the Land. We didn't even get into the Buckeyes. That was just I don't even want to.
It was a weird game. I blame it when you got weather like that. It's just kooky things happen. They won and they got what they needed to do. That's all I care about.
I think the one thing you can say about the Buckeyes, the next 2 games, you're going to have to build more physicality and get your run game going again before you hit the game at the end of the year. And we will talk more about the Buckeyes as we get closer and going into that one, because those fans have every right to talk, and they're going to be talking all the way up to that game. Time to put the kibosh on the old that team up north having some fun. And with that, actually, that'll be the end of the show for Always Positive Jay. You always say at the end of every show,
go big or go. What do I always say?
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, don't talk about it, be about it. I got all these sayings in my head. I'm like, which one was it? Because you pointed at me. I'm like, oh no.
Boy, it's been a day.
Yeah,
guys. It's been a day.
Totally has.
So for Always Positive Jay, who talked about it, but may need to be more about it, like all of us do the next time. For audio, Peter Tubb, I'm Kevin. I'm reminding all of you, don't ever let anyone tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all. 3,000. And as Mike Allen used to say, all gas, no breaks. We'll see you all next week as the Browns start the second half of their season. Your Browns post-game show right here on the Big Play Network is the Voice of the Land. We'll see you next week.